Alright, huddle closer because this isn't some feel-good tale about spiritual awakenings. Have you ever known someone good, someone you trusted, and then seen them change? Not just grow older or get grumpy, but fundamentally shift, like a light going out and something else moving in behind their eyes? Yeah, well, in the small Oklahoma Cherokee community of Red Willow Creek, we watched that happen to our spiritual leader, and when he fell, he didn't fall alone. He took us all with him, down into a darkness I pray you never have to see. Red Willow Creek wasn't much to look at if you were just passing through. Nestled in the rolling green hills of eastern Oklahoma, it was a quiet, close-knit community, mostly Cherokee families who'd lived on this land for generations. We weren't fancy, no big casinos or tourist traps, just simple homes, a community center, a small clinic, and the ancient ceremonial grounds hidden deep in the woods. That ceremonial ground, that was the heart of Red Willow Creek, the unusual feature, the place where the veil between worlds felt thin. I'm Sarah Walkingstick. Grew up in Red Willow Creek, left for college in Tulsa, got a degree in social work and felt the pull to come back home to serve my community. I worked at the clinic, mostly dealing with everyday health issues, but in a place like Red Willow Creek, everyday, often blurred with the other. We knew things, we felt things that people in the cities didn't. We lived with the land, with the spirits of our ancestors, and with the balance or imbalance that our spiritual leader maintained. That leader was Elder Thomas. He wasn't just an elder, he was our shaman, our Didamvwishji. He carried the knowledge, the traditions, the connection to the spirit world. He was a strong, gentle man, respected by everyone, his eyes holding a deep wisdom, his voice calming and resonant. He'd always been there, a steady presence, guiding us, healing us, maintaining the harmony of Red Willow Creek. Until the sickness came. It started subtly, almost invisibly. Elder Thomas started looking tired. More tired than usual for a man of his age. His eyes, once bright and clear, became shadowed, almost clouded. He'd become withdrawn, spending more time alone in his small cabin near the ceremonial grounds, less time with the community. We chalked it up to age, to the wear and tear of years of carrying the spiritual weight of our village. The inciting incident was a dream. Not my dream, but a dream that rippled through the community, shared by many, especially the children. It was a dream of darkness. Of twisted trees with skeletal branches clawing at a blood-red sky. Of whispers carried on a cold wind, whispers that spoke of hunger and shadows. Of a figure in the distance, tall and gaunt, its face obscured, its eyes burning with an unnatural light. The children woke up screaming, terrified, unable to shake the image of the dark figure, the chilling whispers. Parents came to the clinic, worried, confused. We tried to soothe them, told them it was just nightmares, stress, maybe something going around. But there was a deeper unease, a shared sense that this wasn't just a bad dream. This was something else. That day the creek ran red. Red Willow Creek, our namesake, the lifeblood of our community. It wasn't blood, not literally. It was a reddish algae bloom, thick and viscous, staining the water an unnatural, disturbing hue. The elders said they'd never seen anything like it. The water smelled stagnant, foul, the air around the creek heavy with a cloying, sickly sweetness. People started getting sick. Not with a normal illness, not with the flu or a virus, but with something stranger. Fever, yes, but also disorientation, hallucinations, vivid nightmares that bled into waking hours. They spoke of seeing shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, of hearing whispers in the silence, of feeling a cold presence watching them, even in their own homes. The rising tension was like the algae in the creek, spreading, thickening, poisoning everything. The dreams intensified, becoming more vivid, more terrifying. The dark figure drew closer in the dreams, its whispers becoming clearer, more insistent, promising power, offering forbidden knowledge, but laced with a chilling hunger. Elder Thomas became more withdrawn, more isolated. He stopped attending community gatherings, stopped offering his usual blessings and guidance. His cabin remained dark, silent, a place of shadows in the heart of our village. Some of the elders went to check on him, concerned. They found him changed. His eyes were no longer clouded, but burning, with a feverish intensity that was unsettling. His voice, once gentle, was now harsh, grating, filled with a cold authority. He spoke of new visions, of deeper truths, of ancient powers that were awakening. He spoke of the need for change, for sacrifice, for embracing the darkness. His ceremonies changed. The traditional songs and dances were replaced with guttural chants, unsettling rhythms, movements that were jerky, unnatural, almost convulsive. The sacred fire, usually a source of warmth and light, now burned with a sickly green flame, casting grotesque shadows that danced and writhed in the ceremonial grounds. The air became thick with a strange, acrid incense, burning our eyes and making our throats raw. People started to change. Not everyone, not at first, but a growing number, especially those who were closest to Elder Thomas, his family, his followers. Their eyes became shadowed like his, their voices grew cold, their smiles became unsettling, predatory. They moved with a strange, unnatural energy, their faces gaunt, their skin pale, as if something was draining the life from them, replacing it with something else. The village became divided. Those who followed Elder Thomas, drawn in by his twisted visions, his promises of power, and those who resisted, who clung to the old ways, who felt the wrongness of what was happening. Suspicion and fear festered, trust eroded, families were torn apart. Red Willow Creek, once a place of community and harmony, became a village of shadows, of whispers, of growing dread. The natural world mirrored our internal turmoil. The red algae blooms spread further, choking the creek, poisoning the water source. The animals became agitated, restless, behaving erratically. Dogs howled at the moon for hours, their cries filled with a desperate fear. Birds abandoned their nests, leaving the air strangely silent. The trees in the woods around the ceremonial grounds began to wither, their leaves turning black, their branches twisting into grotesque shapes, mirroring the skeletal trees of the shared nightmare. The clinic was overwhelmed. People came in sick, not just physically but mentally, spiritually, their minds fractured, their souls tainted. They spoke of waking nightmares, of visions that clung to them even when they were awake, of feeling a cold presence, always watching, always waiting. Sleep offered no escape, only deeper descent into the darkness of the shared dream. Then the disappearances started. First, it was livestock, sheep and goats vanishing from their pens overnight, leaving no trace, no tracks, just gone. Then pets, dogs and cats disappearing from backyards, their collars and tags found discarded, ripped apart as if by animal claws, but no animal tracks around. Then, people. Old Man Willow, one of the elders who had resisted Elder Thomas's influence, vanished from his home. His door was found open, his fire still burning, but he was gone as if he had simply dissolved into thin air. Fear turned to panic. We knew deep down what was happening, what was taking them. It wasn't just a sickness, it wasn't just nightmares. It was something ancient, something dark, something that had come to Red Willow Creek through Elder Thomas's corruption. The climax arrived on the night of the eclipse. A total solar eclipse, plunging the midday into an unnatural twilight. The sky darkened, the air grew cold, an eerie silence descended over Red Willow Creek. And from the ceremonial grounds, a chanting began. Louder, more frenzied, more guttural than ever before. The green fire burned brighter, casting grotesque shadows that stretched and writhed across the village, reaching into our homes, into our hearts. Elder Thomas emerged from the ceremonial grounds, no longer the gentle, wise leader we had known. He was gaunt, skeletal, his skin stretched tight over his bones, his eyes burning with an unholy light. He wore a mask carved from bone, grotesque and terrifying, obscuring his face, transforming him into something other, something monstrous. He led his followers, the changed ones, out of the ceremonial grounds, a procession of shadows, their faces pale, their eyes vacant, their movements jerky, unnatural. They moved through the village, chanting, their voices echoing in the unnatural twilight, their presence radiating a cold, malevolent energy that froze the blood in our veins. They went house to house, dragging people out into the darkness. Those who resisted were silenced. Brutally, violently silenced. Those who followed Elder Thomas willingly joined the procession, their eyes vacant, their faces blank, walking like sleepwalkers towards the ceremonial grounds. The village was tearing itself apart. Chaos reigned, fear consumed us. The nightmare realm had broken through into our reality. We were trapped, hunted, our community dissolving into madness and darkness. And at the center of it all, Elder Thomas, the corrupted shaman, the bone-masked figure leading his tribe into a nightmare. The twist, wasn't a sudden event, but a horrifying revelation about the nature of the curse itself. As I watched the procession of shadows dragging people towards the ceremonial grounds, as the chanting echoed through the twilight, as the green fire burned brighter, I understood. It wasn't just Elder Thomas who was corrupted. It wasn't just a curse from outside. It was something deeper. Something that had always been there, dormant, waiting. The ceremonial grounds, the ancient place of power, it wasn't just a gateway to the spirit world. It was a mirror. It reflected back what was within us, our collective fears, our hidden darkness, our unspoken hungers. Elder Thomas hadn't just fallen into darkness. He had unleashed it. He had amplified the darkness that was already present, latent, within our community, within human nature itself. The curse wasn't some external entity, some malevolent spirit possessing our shaman. The curse was the darkness within us, amplified, twisted, brought to terrifying life by Elder Thomas's corrupted power. The nightmare realm wasn't some separate dimension. It was our own world, our own village, seen through the distorted lens of our collective fear and despair. The monsters weren't coming from outside. They were coming from within. From us. And the bone mask, it wasn't just a symbol of corruption. It was a conduit. It focused the darkness, amplified the curse, channeled the collective fear and despair of Red Willow Creek, turning it into a tangible, terrifying force. Elder Thomas wasn't just corrupted. He was a vessel. A conduit for the darkness we had unwittingly nurtured within ourselves. I don't know how many survived that night. I managed to escape, to flee into the woods, to hide in the darkness, watching in horror as Red Willow Creek consumed itself. I saw the green fire burn higher, the chanting grow louder, the shadows deepen, swallowing the village whole. I saw people I knew, people I loved, transformed into something else, something monstrous. When the sun finally rose, casting a pale, weak light over the ravaged village, the nightmare realm receded, but the damage was done. Red Willow Creek was shattered, broken, scarred. The ceremonial grounds were silent, the green fire extinguished, but the air still hung heavy with a residue of darkness, a lingering taint of fear and despair. Elder Thomas and his followers were gone. Vanished. Some say they were taken into the spirit world, pulled through the shattered veil. Some say they simply dissolved, their physical forms consumed by the darkness they had unleashed. We don't know. We can only guess. Red Willow Creek is slowly rebuilding, healing, but the scars remain. The creek still runs with a faint reddish tinge, even after the algae blooms subsided. The woods around the ceremonial grounds are still withered, twisted, silent. And the nightmares still come. Not as vivid, not as terrifying as before, but they linger, a constant reminder of the darkness that lies just beneath the surface, waiting to be awakened again. Have you ever felt that darkness within yourself? That hidden fear, that unspoken hunger, that latent capacity for cruelty? Have you ever seen someone you trusted fall from grace, their light extinguished, replaced by something else? Share your thoughts, your fears. Because I have a feeling Red Willow Creek isn't just an isolated incident. And I have a feeling the darkness is always waiting, always listening for a chance to rise again. And sometimes all it takes is one corrupted soul to open the door.